want to talk about different thing, okay? The title of this video is what does it mean to be a designer? I keep asking this question to myself, right? And I think I believe everybody does too. What does it really mean to be a designer? Why does one choose this career over everything else? Is it because of the satisfaction? Is it because of the pay? Is it the glamour? Or maybe simply it's something that everybody is doing, like, okay, this is the most happening thing ever, and then everybody would try to do this job. There's a lot of demand for it. I don't know the answer for sure, but I can tell you the story of how I started. So back in 2007, that's really long time ago. I had no idea what I wanted to do in life. I just graduated from university. My major was graphic design, and I was looking to get a hold on my career path. Right? Do I go into like a traditional graphic design agency, branding agency, or advertising agency? Those are like the normal path for everybody who graduated from my school. But then I remember I had always been designing websites when I was in college and even starting from high school. Back in the days, HTML and front page and Dreamweaver was the thing. And then I also created and designed interactive CD-ROMs. I remember, like, for my school, we designed this interactive CD-ROMs for end of yearbook, something like that, using Macromedia Flash and Macromedia Director, if you guys remember. Gosh, I feel really old on this one. And naturally, even if I majored in graphic design, my experience resonated more with digital work, and I made a lot of connection. I participated in a lot of competitions, and like I knew I was kind of good at it. So when I graduated, I already made connections with people from Oracle, the IT company from the US, right? And back in the day, US user experience was not a term, so it's just like designing for the web, and even like Apple iPhone and Android phones were not there, right? I think iPhone was launched in 2007 or 2008, maybe just like shy a couple of months or a year after I started my first job. So I took this job as a designer for Oracle Corporation, designing web-based e-learning products. It was my first remote job, so I basically worked from Indonesia and reported to a hiring manager in the US, but essentially I was working in an office in Indonesia. And we were exclusively designing for the web. And I remember the first tool that I used was Adobe Illustrator, because that's the tool that the company was using. No Figma, no Sketch, no Lovable, no Bold, whatever we have now. It's just Adobe Illustrator. Can you imagine that? It's like a tool for like print design, but we made it a tool for digital design. But anyway, my motivation back then was simple, right? So to get a job out of college. There's nothing grand about it. There's nothing like philosophical about it. I think that designing for digital or the web made sense because it was the medium that I had experience with and was keen on doing, right? And during my university years, I learned so much about printing techniques, papers, and all that. But I never felt like I was really into them. I was not really passionate about that. So increasingly, I felt comfortable, but then I just treated UX design as a job, right? Although it wasn't called UX back then, just like designing for the web. It's just a means of sustenance, basically, nothing more. My passion lies somewhere else. I think it was shallow motivation, just to like get a job and then just to cruise life. I was comfortable. What is my real passion? I really don't know. Even like now, I don't know. Maybe travel, because I do a lot of like travel content as well in my other blog, and I'm constantly like trying to find ways to travel. Maybe something else. I don't know. Like this content making thing. I'm still not sure. But yeah, essentially, I obsess about travel a lot. Maybe something that I want to do in life. That's why I work for travel tech companies like Expedia and TripAdvisor in the past, and I still want to do it again in the future if the opportunity arises. When I changed jobs after that, it was always about opportunism. It's not really strategic, like, okay, you have to be like this certain level, or you have to go into like this certain domain to climb your way up, for example. It was more like, oh, startup is booming in Indonesia and startup A, B, C was looking, okay, I will be there. Or maybe the environment is better, like maybe the leadership or the manager was better. The work-life balance was better, so I went straight away to that kind of companies, right? So it's kind of like opportunistic and escapism, like from bad environment to like a better environment, supposedly, or something that I really wanted to do next, not necessarily about the strategic value of it. I was always looking for a better environment for my sanity as a worker, and never really like a strategic move to like, okay, you have to reach certain milestones in your career. So even when I moved to Singapore in 2016, and then moved to different companies, it was always more of an opportunistic outlet than a real strategic career choice. So if people say, or people ask, or interviewers ask, like, what is your motivation to work here, or why did you leave the company? It's almost always opportunistic, whether it's a better salary or is it a better environment for me to be in, a better manager. Nothing really like, okay, I want to focus on being a manager, or like being an IC or something like that. Well, maybe there were some strategic life choices, not career choices, like, moving to Singapore means a better environment for my kid and my family. But in the end, it was just mostly opportunistic. One example is when I resigned from Shopify to TripAdvisor in 2021. Again, it was interesting to come back to travel, and then I was in a burnout at Shopify, and then I found that I vibe a lot with the new manager at TripAdvisor, so I moved instantly because I thought I believe in this new manager versus the previous one. So sometimes it's that shallow, and I feel like, okay, I can take like a pay cut or whatever just to get to a better environment, for example. So yeah, what does being a designer mean to me? Let's come back to this question. The answer is nothing. It's just a way of life, a way of sustaining myself and my family. Nothing grand or philosophical about it. I do not want to change the world. Maybe in the past I wanted to, but I gave up on the idea. Maybe I want to contribute meaningfully to the company. That's what I usually say in an interview. But then, honestly, it's mostly just to contribute to myself, my well-being, my own life, my own trajectory. Some domains, maybe like travel, are my passion. I don't think like, mixing personal passion and like company domain can really be a guarantee of my own happiness. I'll just go into a company opportunistically and then leave the company opportunistically, if that makes sense. Maybe if I lived 100 years ago, or maybe like just 20 years ago, maybe I would choose a different kind of like work, different kind of profession. Maybe I would have become an artist or a factory engineer. I don't know, whatever works in that age, right? So in this age, in my working life, being a UX designer was the something that made more sense. So I chose it. It's nothing philosophical. It's nothing grand. I just want to work and then like sustain myself and do something else that I really like, using this as a vehicle. If you really want to become a designer in this year, just don't try to be philosophical or too philosophical about it. This field will disappoint you at times, that's for sure. Thank you for watching until the end, and don't forget to like, comment, and subscribe. Bye bye, and see you in the next one.